All right, now that we have the first step done, getting the video layers into Photoshop, we'll move on to discussing the frame rate and how to animate using the video layers. So I have this layer 1 and layer 2. And layer 1 is the video layer, so I am going to lock this layer so that I don't accidentally paint on it or mess anything up. And then I'll select layer 2 here. Now, I've zoomed in really far. You can zoom in and out by using these little mountains. The closer you go to the big mountains, the closer in you are. So I'll start with this first frame here. That's 0, 0. So I just have the paintbrush selected, and I'm going to just trace the eyeball here. And then I'll jump forward one frame, and that's gone. But if I go back to this first frame, that's the only thing that's drawn. So I can jump forward to this frame, and let's say I do that again. Now, obviously this tracing isn't the best, and you would want to put more time into it, but you'll get the picture here. So then I'd go forward to frame 3, trace that, and when you scrub through, you can see that there's some animation here. Now, the problem with this is that I have the frame rate right now set to almost 30 frames per second. So for 1 second of animation, you would need to trace something 30 times. Now, that can get a little excessive. So what you would want to do is change the frame rate. Right here, you can see the frame rate. So what we'll do is click over here on this drop down and say set timeline frame rate. Now for rotoscoping, something around 12 or 15 would probably do. You can make up your mind on which frame rate you'd like to use. If you want something with more jagged, traditional, like older animation style, you would do a lower frame rate. But if you wanted something with really smooth movements, you would have to do a higher frame rate. So right now, I'm just going to change this to 15 frames per second and select OK. Now, what I've already done has changed a little bit because the frame rate is lower and I don't need as many frames per second. So I would go through and start tracing again, but I wouldn't need to do it as many times.